Hi Beauty Fam, today we're going to swatch and try on all of the new Lisa Eldridge Rouge Experience refillable lipsticks I picked up. I picked up 3 shades in this beautiful luxury beauty aluminum, first of its kind refillable case. This beauty right here, making makeup history. So if you want to swatch with me and see what I think about these lipsticks, do some swatch comparisons of other Lisa Eldridge lipsticks and what I think of this formula, then keep watching. Remember to subscribe all to my videos so you get notification when my videos go live. Commenting and liking below helps me out on my channel. If you want to support my channel, you can go ahead and use any of the affiliate links below. The description box will have all my closest foundation shades if you're wondering if we're a foundation twin product. This is Lisa Eldridge's new Rouge Experience refillable lipstick, and she has made makeup history in creating the first luxury refillable aluminum case for luxury lipstick. It is so beautiful. This is definitely a weighty case. This retails $59, which is a very spendy price for lipstick. However, she's luxury beauty and it's kind of up there with things like Tom Ford, Eric Guerlain, where we have these kind of special cases. So I have a Guerlain here, comes with a velvet pouch, and this is the one from spring of this year. It was cherry blossoms, and this is the refillable component, and this is not aluminum, but it is refillable, and it comes with this case where you can get your initials or name engraved here, and it's got this beautiful mirror. So to me, the price wasn't anything out of the ordinary when we're talking about luxury beauty and refillable cases, so that wasn't an issue with me. I think if you're going to buy Lisa Eldridge, you know that she's going for that luxury makeup market. She's the first one to create a product like this that is completely recyclable. So I've had this just probably almost a month now. I did not end up getting this engraved. One side will have the Lisa Eldridge on this side, and then this side is where you can get your initials engraved. I decided not to get engraved for 2 reasons. I kind of didn't want to wait. I was pretty impatient, but I'm just kind of picky about my engraving. What happens is you pick 2 letters and they put a letter and a dot and then a letter and a dot, and I actually don't like the dots. I kind of wish, and maybe I can ask, I kind of wish they didn't put the dots. I think it kind of like, I don't know, makes the engraving less pretty or special. I would prefer it was just 2 of the letters, but that's just a me thing. I think it's a nice feature, so I decided not to get mine engraved, plus I didn't want to wait. This is such beautiful packaging. So it's pretty weighty. It's black inside. Again, there's the LE logo. LE, and then a dot over her lips, because she has a mole. And on this, the case, this is the refillable part. Her logo, Lisa Eldridge, actually is etched onto here. And this is an all aluminum casing. It's not super light or super heavy. It's like a nice weight, and that's the entire lipstick. I've been using these already for a good almost full month. There is some embossing on there. Again, her logo is on here if you can see, but you can probably see better in my product shots, which I'll show you in a bit. And then this is the bottom. So basically the refillable case is this. Apparently it was 5 years in the making, and it finally came out now. I'm a little rough with my products. I do wish it came in some sort of velvet casing to protect it. So if it's just, and it's a little thing, like since it's luxury beauty and this is kind of like supposed to be a keepsake case, especially if one gets it engraved, you don't want it to get dinged around. So I've been throwing this around in my purse. It doesn't come with a case, and I did notice there's already a little bit of a ding on top here, and again, that's on me, but you know, now I know I'm actually going to repurpose one of my cases and put it in a velvet pouch like this. I'm actually going to reuse an old Sisley case and see if it works. Yep, I'm going to use an old Sisley case and use that because it's a beautiful velvet pouch. The refills, let me pull these up. These are the refills, and this is what they look like. Come with a case, which I do think is substantial. I actually have gone into work and traveled with these with the case. You just have to make sure it's pushed down. It hasn't fallen off. I find the ones that usually sometimes with refillables, there's a plastic on it. That's usually the cover, and those can fall off, but this is pretty secure. So I do like that about this product. The bottom tells you the number of the product, but it doesn't tell you the name. So she came out with 8 shades, but one is not available yet, and that's the deepest one, which I am anxiously waiting, the Bohemian Cherry 190. And so although there were 8 shades, only 7 were available at time of release. And then I got 3 shades. So I ended up getting 182 Simone, and I'll show you that one here. 182 Simone. And that's described as a light tawny caramel. 185 Medici, and that's described as a cool mauve berry rose. And the last one is Ashes of Roses, and that's the one I have in the case, and that's described as a earthy rose. I ended up only getting 3 because I wanted to make sure I actually liked the formula before I invested in getting more. So in my last purchase of Lisa Eldridge lip products, I ended up getting all of the balms that she released, and I actually liked them at first, but then as I used them, I started to smell the natural like ingredients that everyone was talking about, and I no longer can tolerate the smell. So it was disappointing for me because it's a pretty formula, and I bought and spent money on all of the shades. And it was a bummer because I need time to really sit with the product to make sure that I do like it. So initially I liked those products when I filmed, but as time went on, I realized I just couldn't stand the smell anymore. So I actually don't use those anymore. And so I decided only to get 3. I was going to get 2, but I got sucked into the hype, and I think the 3 colors that I got, I'm happy with them. What I think I'm looking forward to is that she said in her video, her YouTube, when she launched this collection, she said that in 2025 she's actually going to have another rollout. I think maybe even 2 phases of rollouts of 2 different batches of colors, which makes sense to me. She might do a spring release, and then she might do a summer release or a fall release for fall deeper colors. I am so excited when she has those releases, because I think this was actually a good first release of colors, because out of all of these, I think someone can find at least one shade that they're going to like. They're almost like kind of not universal shades, but like pinks and like these brownie nudes. They're not even brownie nudes. They're more like rosy nudes. One can usually find something that's going to work for them. So I think the ones that I picked were really good. I did base it on the pictures of the people in the release. On launch day, if you spent over $105, which I did, you ended up getting a chocolate cherry luxury velvet makeup pouch. And I love her pouches, and especially with this color, it's gorgeous. I've always loved burgundies and plums and chocolate reds. Super beautiful, especially with the gold lettering. So pretty. And alone, if you just want to get it, this is $19. That's why I ended up deciding getting 3, because I wanted to hit the 105 mark, so I might as well just get that. So I went from 2 to 3, and this is a beautifully plush luxury velvet makeup pouch in a gorgeous new limited edition chocolate cherry colorway. And it has her logo on here, if you can see, and it's gold. It's just really beautiful. I've actually here, I'm gonna show you how I ended up putting this lipstick on. So this is definitely my favorite lipstick out of all three that I received, Ashes of Roses. And the reason I love this one the best is because I think it's like the most wearable, and it goes cool tone, warm tone, no matter what I'm wearing. This lipstick can be used for different outfits. I also think it's probably the most flattering color out of the three shades that I got. And you'll see what I mean. Like, this is, I do well with brown roses or pinky roses, and this is such a beautiful color. It's like a kind of like a Your Lips But Better shade. These Rouge Experience refillable lipsticks are in between the Luxuriously Lucent formula and the Velvet formula, because it's not a velvet matte. It's definitely satiny. There's a slip to it, but it's very pigmented. And for those of you who didn't like the Luxuriously Lucent formula or didn't like the Velvet formula for some reason, I don't know who those people are, because that Velvet formula is amazing, other than there were complaints of it breaking. I think this is a really nice in-between, because you're getting the pigment of that Velvet matte formula without being super, super thick or as pigmented. And the Luxury Lucent, it's more of like a balm lipstick, but it's very thin. It's not as pigmented. So I would say for me, this is a perfect like kind of marriage of in between. It's it definitely has some body, but you know how some lipsticks you can feel the lipstick on your lips and then you're like that. It's definitely lighter feeling than the Velvet formula that she has. Definitely like lighter, more slip, more moisturizing. And I think I don't want to say that I like it more than the Velvet formula. The Velvet formula is really, I think, her signature product. Like, no one has lipsticks, in my opinion, like her Velvet line of lipsticks on the market. Hands down. I think I don't know how she does it. Like, I've seen those lipstick swatches on so many different people, and they just look gorgeous on so many different types of people. So for people who are looking for something like the Velvet formula, but didn't like that maybe sometimes they broke or that they were a little bit too matte and dried down too dry, these are really, really a nice alternative or a nice choice. The Luxuriously Lucent, I like that formula not as well as this one because it's not as pigmented as I want it to be. So I probably own maybe at most 3 of those. I've been able to wear these lipsticks without lip liner. So on most days, I'm really in a hurry and I don't even bother with lip liner. But if I want my lipstick to last longer, I will definitely grab one of her lip pencils, the Sculpt Shade lip pencil. And for me, my favorite lips pencil of hers is the shade 2N, just because it's more of like a true neutral brown. Let me just show that to you here. And that's 2N. And then 1N is lighter, so I think that's a little bit more, it's more subtle. I tend to like the 2N more just because it adds a little bit more dimension with my skin tone. And let me just show you how that looks. There we go. So I just think it rounds out the look, but I for sure do not need lip liner with this product. The one thing I'll say with this in terms of wear time, I do think the Velvet formula lasts longer. I don't feel like I have to touch up as more with that, but here's the other thing about the Velvet formula. Sometimes it's too pigmented that I get sometimes either lipstick on my teeth or I'm eating food, and sometimes it really migrates because it's so pigmented. This has not migrated, nor has, like when I'm eating, it doesn't get all over the place. It's like easy just to blot a little bit. It's not it's not smudge proof by any means, but it's just like a nicer like formula that it's not obvious when it smudges or if lipstick comes off while I'm eating food. And I'll get up close so you can see the lipstick in detail. Okay, this is as close as my camera gets, and I'll go this way so you can see the lipstick. As you can see, it's such a beautiful color. It's going to look different on everyone depending on their pigment and then their skin color and undertone. For me, I'm wearing something that's kind of more warm tone, so it's pulling more warm, but for me it's like almost the perfect rosy nude. So beautiful. Sometimes with roses, it can be a little bit too pink or too red. I think this is just the perfect color. Okay, so let's take this off and try the other shades out. So this is the lipstick case, and then you just pull, and it's pretty secure in there. It's not too tough, but it's easy to come out. What's nice about this is then when they're not in use, you just cover it up, and then you don't have to worry about it drying out. I have to be honest that often I don't know what color I'm pulling because really in the bullet they look really the same. Okay, can you tell the colors apart? They're really hard. Okay, so on this side is Medici, that's the mauve berry. In the middle is Simone, and this side is the Rose of Ashes. But by itself, it's hard to tell what they are. Okay, so I just want to point that out. And maybe it's just the colors that I got. And again, the label at the bottom doesn't say the name. It just basically says the number. So that kind of adds a little bit to my confusion, but I just thought I'd mention that. Okay, and this is Simone, a light tawny caramel. Okay, that's a really light application. And let me go in a little bit more pigmented. And you can just see how creamy it is and very pigmented. Okay, so to me this is on my skin tone, it's a very, very nude color. It's not to the point where I feel like it's concealer lips. I wouldn't like that, but I'm definitely fine that it looks better when I use a liner. So let me see. I've been using 2N, and then sometimes I've been even using a darker one, and this is not a Lisa Eldridge product. This is actually a Chanel product, Brune Foncé. And so this is 2N here. Let me show you Brune Foncé. You can see it's actually more of a deeper, almost like, yeah, it's like a deeper brown. So let's see, I'm going to show you what it looks like with 2N on, and it may not show up because I've been using those two because depending on like how it looks. And I think that is like subtle enough. Like for work, this is what I would wear because it's very like elegant, very subtle. If you're looking for a lipstick that looks like a nude, but and just like you like this kind of look, Simone is your gal. It almost has a cool, like definitely a cool look. I thought this was going to be more brown than it is, but it's not. On me, it pulls very, very cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you that that is one subtle way to do it. I definitely prefer wearing Simone, since it's a light tawny caramel and looks very nude on me, with a lip liner. So I'm going to show you, if I were going to wear this at night, which I have, I like to put a deeper liner on it just because I think it looks better. So this is the Chanel Brune Foncé. Okay, so you can see it's where it's way more contrasty, and then I'm just taking the brush on the other side. And I'll link all these products below. I actually really do love this liner more for this lipstick, just because it's so cool looking. And I really, this is the new color Brune Foncé from Chanel. It's a new release, so I like it because it's when I need a deeper color, this is the one I reach for. And I'm sure you have like colors like this that you can pull from your collection as well. Okay, so that is Simone. And let me get in close so you can see. but I think this is such a beautiful nude lipstick color. I often don't like nudes. The closest colors that I found that I like for nudes have been from the Chanel line or Makeup by Mario, but this is something special for sure. So this is Simone. Okay, so we're going into the last one. All I have to do is make sure all the lipstick is down because we're going to put a cap on it. Take this off, finding the one I'm replacing it with, taking that cap and putting that back on. Make sure it's on securely. There it is. So this is the shade Medici. The shade Medici is considered a cool mauve berry rose. And I would have to say, out of all of these shades, this is the one I couldn't find a dupe for in the collection. So, and I'll talk about that at the end of like swatches, so we can talk about that. So this is Medici on its own without any lip liner. And that's Medici. Okay, so for Medici, I also feel like I don't need to wear a lip liner, but for the sake of the video, I'll grab one, and I'm gonna grab the 2C color. And it's this one here, which is a little bit more cool tone, and I think it matches this really well. Let me just swatch it so you can see. Yeah, that's a good one to use. So I'm using her Lisa Eldridge, the 2C color. So that is 2C, Too Cool, the lip pencil sculpt and shade from Lisa Eldridge. I think it's a really good shade match. And then here are images of the models from the Lisa Eldridge website using the shade Medici, so you can compare. I think I'm happy with the three that I picked. For sure I'm gonna get the Bohemian Cherry. And also knowing that she said on her YouTube channel that she's going to release even more lipstick shades next year. And like, I'm gonna show you swatches of the three shades together, stacked up. So on this side, you're gonna see the lipstick swatches. The top one is the shade Simone. The second one is Medici, and the bottom is Rose of Ashes. And you can see what I mean by, like, by themselves, like, it might be hard to see them, like, the differences. And that's actually what I had trouble with on the website. To me, they kind of looked very similar. And I think she did that by design, in that everyone's going to find at least one shade that you're going to like. So it took me quite a while to figure out which shades I wanted. And that doesn't usually happen with Lisa Eldridge. But I think, I'm wondering if she did that by design, that, like, these are pretty muted tones. You can see the top one, Simone, it definitely has more brown caramel in the color. It's more warm leaning, though on me, as you saw, it was very, very cool tone and cool. The second one being Medici, it has so much purple in it. It really surprised me, and on me it pulls very cool purple mauve-y. And then the best one, which is my favorite one, is the Ashes of Roses. And I think it's such a beautiful color. And when I swatched these with other Lisa Eldridge shades that I have, I was really surprised, because what I found out was that, and I'll show you, we'll talk about my swatches because I took notes. So the first one you see here is Medici. And that's, I think, out of all three, this is the one that's the most unique. I tried to find like the closest shades to Medici, and really in terms of tone, it's closest to Velvet Blush, but it's missing that purpley kind of cool tone in there. Like Velvet Blush, it's a different kind of formula altogether. It's very, very pigmented. But in terms of like the rest of the collection, I did not find anything that was close to Medici because it runs so purple and cool toned. So you're seeing that Velvet Blush is like, in terms of tone, it's the closest. And then the top right is Velvet Sorcery. That's more brown, and it's not as close. And then two below that you have Velvet Decade, and that's just more a brown plum. And the rest are just don't really match it. The one that's very sheer between Velvet Sorcery on the top right, this is the second one I'm talking about, Rose Official. That is the Luxuriously Lucent formula. And it's too light, it's too pink, so it doesn't match. So out of the three I got, Medici is really the shade that I don't have anything like that in my Lisa Eldridge collection. And then you can see as I'm moving my hand, like you can see the different formulas, that there's a little bit more slip and more emolliency, right? Like Medici has some shine to it, and it's similar to the Luxuriously Lucent, but it's definitely a different formula. It's very much more pigmented and has more body. It's less sheer. And actually I prefer this formula way better than the Luxuriously Lucent. Let's move on to the swatches of comparisons to Ashes of Rose. So the top left is Ashes of Roses. And this one surprised me. I think really the ones that it looks most similar to are Velvet Fawn, which is the second one on the right, second bottom right. And then the third one from the right down is Velvet Affair. I think those are the closest to it. So let me see if I can swatch that for you right now so you can see. Okay, so here we have Ashes of Roses here. And then underneath it, I'm going to swatch Simone for you. Ashes of Roses and then Simone. So you can see Ashes of Roses, definitely more pink. Simone has more brown in it. But let me swatch for you next to it Velvet Affair. And for both of these shades, actually, these are the closest. So Velvet Affair. And then Velvet Fawn. And these are my two most used velvet shades in my collection. Very similar, friendly, very vibe. So Simone reminds me much more of Velvet Fawn, but it's still got more depth of brown in it, which I do prefer this. Velvet Fawn sometimes is too pale pink for me. This is Velvet Affair. It has more brown in it, and Ashes of Rose definitely has more rose and red in it. So on this camera, and this is why I like to do shots in natural lighting on my Sony video camera and also my iPhone, you can see sometimes the undertones differently. You can see the formula, there's more sheen, right, with these Rouge Experience here. These are more flat mattes. So in some ways you can see more of the nuances of the colors this way as I'm bending my hand. Such beautiful colors. And this one is the batch of swatches of Simone, and Simone's on the top left here in these pictures. And then you can see again underneath it is Velvet Sorcery and then Velvet Fawn. I think again it looks like Velvet Fawn, but which is this one here, but it looks a little bit more pink, obviously the Fawn versus Simone. And then we have on the right Spirited Away, and then Kit and Mischief, which I don't think are close at all. They're different formulas and very, very like not very pigmented. And then the last bottom right is Velvet Affair, which is this one, which I think looks similar to this, but again, Velvet Affair is more, has more brown in it, like orangey brown, where this is more like a brownie pink. So if you were to ask me which one do I like more, it's hard to say. I mean, I wear a fair depending on what my makeup looks like that day and what I'm wearing. But I really love these lipsticks. The question is like, you're going to ask me, are these better than the Velvet formula? I can't really compare. I love the Velvet formula. I do find that this Rouge Experience lipstick is easier to use on the go. And by that, what I mean is that I am a busy working professional. I have children. I gotta get out the door. With the Velvet formula, because they're very sensitive and they have broken before, I don't feel like I can, and it's silly to say, but it's true, I don't feel like I want to travel with these a lot. Like, I would be a little bit hesitant to throw this in my purse and get it knocked around because they have fallen apart before. Whereas this she's solid. She's not going anywhere. The only thing is that I had described before is that I definitely want to put this in a case, like a velvet carrying case, because I don't want it to get ruined. But for me, and I'll give you an example, like sometimes I don't leave the house with lipstick on because it's the last thing I do. And like I drink my coffee and hydrating and I brush my teeth, so I don't have lipstick on, but I throw in my bag 1 or 2 lipsticks I think that are going to work for me. And I know it's terrible, or if I'm taking transit, I will be putting on my lipstick on the train, or I'm at a stoplight, I will put on my lipstick. And it's so easy to do this. Like a lot of times I'm just doing that and that's done. It's perfect. Whereas with the Velvet formula, because it's more dry and I would say less forgiving, I just find that this is a better, like more of an everyday wearable lipstick formula, and I'm in love. I think it's beautiful. I think this is probably, oh, I don't know, I might have to do a battle of the lipsticks kind of roundup of like my favorite lip products this year. I'm already thinking of the top 3. If you want me to do that, let me know. So it's definitely this formula, the Valentino formula here, which I'm going to grab, the Violette FR Bisou Balm formula, and then I don't have it, it's actually in my purse because I love that so much, the Carolina Herrera matte lipsticks. And it's not a new formula, it's just new to me. It became available through Nordstrom recently. So if you want me to do like my favorite lipstick formulas of this year and which ones were like fails or disappointments, let me know. I'm probably going to have at least just one more video before the end of the year for sure, and that's going to be my roundups of my favorites of 2024. Beauty, skincare, and makeup. That's going to be my favorite video, and things that I've actually been loving. It might not be even just makeup. If you want me to include other things, let me know, but I'm just going to film that, and that was like the last video I was planning on doing for the end of the year. Okay, beauty fam, that's enough chit chat. Let me know what you think about the colors I picked. What do you think about this collection? Did you end up picking up any? Are you considering any colors of getting? You know, and if I helped you decide what color you might want to check out, then remember to comment and like below, and remember to subscribe. And below in the description box, I will put my playlist of all my Lisa Eldridge makeup and lipstick videos. Okay, beauty fam, that's it. Until the next time, please be very kind to yourself and others, and just be you. Until the next video, take good care, beauty fam. Bye.
I don't wanna stop. Could you come closer to me? I just can't resist you. I'm giving up. I'm giving up.